national level. His students achieved first-place awards at all 3 levels. Professor Ryan was active not only at AACC, but also in the local community, including Habitat for Humanity. His tenure at AACC is marked by relentless dedication to students and the education field, leaving an indelible mark on the college and the community at large. Professor Ryan has met and exceeded the criteria for the award of Professor Emeritus. And with that, I will turn it back to Dr. Lindsay for the main motion, please.
The main motion in front of the board is that the Board of Trustees
This one.
Professor Michael T. Ryan in grateful recognition of his significant contributions to Anne Arundel Community College during his tenure at the college.
Do we have any audio? We have a blinking red.
We're all blinking.
Who's speaking?
One. I think the audio is back on now. Mine is,
Yeah.
please, sorry.
Yes, we're now green, yes. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, Monica, would you call the roll, please?
Yes, trustees, when I say your name, could you please state your vote? Chair Uvala,
Approve?
Vice Chair Chen,
Approve.
Trustee Chaudhry,
Approve.
Trustee Johnson,
Approve.
Trustee Moore,
Approve.
Trustee Price Jones,
Approve.
Trustee Stanton Buttram,
Approve.
and Trustee Gwynn.
Approve.
Chair Uvala, the motion passes.
Thank you very much.
At this time, I would like to introduce Professor Emeritus Mike Ryan. Over the corner.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Thank everyone here. I think my story actually started at Anne Arundel in 1978 as a student here and graduated. And I remember at the time my high school guidance counselor said that I ruined my life coming here. He was so wrong. Thank you.
Okay, our next item on the agenda is our consent agenda. Do you have a motion?
I do. The motion in front of the board is that the Board of Trustees approves the consent agenda item as presented.
And as a reminder, again, the Facilities Committee has given their blessing to all the contract reviews, so that's already been done. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Yeah. We have dueling motions in a second, okay? Do we have anything that needs to get pulled out or discussed? Hearing none, Monica, would you call for the vote?
Yes, trustees, when I say your name, could you please state your vote? Chair Uvala,
Approve.
Vice Chair Chen,
Approve.
Trustee Chaudhry,
Approve.
Trustee Johnson,
Approve.
Trustee Moore,
Approve.
Trustee Price Jones,
Approve.
Trustee Stanton Buttram,
Approve.
and Trustee Gwynn.
Approve.
Chair Uvala, the motion passes.
Thank you very much. Now we'll go into our committee reports, and we begin with our Vice Chair, Dr. Chen. on Board Policy Oversight Committee.
Thank you. As discussed last month, we are bringing forward the religious accommodations policy to the board as an action item for tonight's meeting. The Maryland General Assembly enacted a law that required public institutions to adopt a written policy that provides reasonable academic accommodations for students to practice sincerely held, faith-based, or religious beliefs before July 1, 2023. In May 2023, the Board Policy Oversight Committee received consensus from the board for the president to create and approve a policy on an interim basis, as the college did not have enough time for the policy to be vetted through the review process and be in compliance with the law. The religious accommodations policy describes the rights of employees, applicants, and students to request and receive religious accommodations in accordance with the college's policies and relevant laws and regulations regarding religious beliefs. Legal counsel, AACC staff, and the college's constituency groups have reviewed this policy and provided feedback, which has been incorporated into the final draft. The effective date of the final policy will be the date that this policy is published on the college website after it is approved by the board. If there are no questions, I would like to ask Dr. Lindsay to read the main motion for the board, as this concludes my report.
Are there any questions? Okay.
Thank you. The motion in front of the board is that the Board of Trustees approve the new religious accommodations policy as shown in Exhibit 1.
Do I have such a motion?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. Monica, would you call for the vote?
Yes, trustees, when I say your name, could you please state your vote? Chair Uvala,
Approve?
Vice Chair Chen,
Approve.
Trustee Chaudhry,
Approve.
Trustee Johnson,
Approve.
Trustee Moore,
Approve.
Trustee Price Jones,
Approve.
Trustee Stanton Buttram,
Approve.
and Trustee Quinn.
Approve.
Chair Uvala, this motion passes.
Thank you. Our next report will be Budget Committee. Trustee Dr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Board Budget Committee met via Zoom on May the 9th to discuss the following topics: FY 2024 Operating Budget Financial Status Report, the Academic Portfolio and Resources Review, and the FY 2025 budget. Consistent with the projections provided to the board in the budget workshop, FY 2024 Operating Budget Status Report as of March 31, 2024 shows a balanced budget with all areas within the appropriations authority. That included student union and fees are projected above budget by 8% due to continuing improvements in enrollment. Expenses are projected to be under budget primarily due to staff turnover and benefit savings from other positions, offset by strategic year-end purchases identified in the FY 2025 budget development process. The committee received an update from Dr. Milner on academic portfolio and resources review and the framework being developed and implemented as the college continues efforts to scale the process. The committee discussed and provided feedback on the planned FY 2025 analysis, policy implications, and impacts experienced in FY 2024. The committee noted that the need for continuous transparency and engagement with the college committee and the board as we continue the critical work delivering on two of the board's primary responsibilities. Number one is fiscal resources, and two are institutional policy oversight. Next, the committee discussed the FY 2025 budget and where we are in the process, noting that the college budget presentation to the county council was held yesterday and that the county council is scheduled to finalize the budget on June the 14th. The committee was previously provided with a written update on the plan to address the reduction in funding in the county executive's budget released on May the 1st. The college requested $5.7 million in additional county funding. The county's executive budget provides $2.4 million in new funding for FY 2025. The college was able to balance to the county funding reduction of $3.3 million by the following. Number one, increasing the state revenue by $1.10600 to align with the state legislative changes. Number two, increasing the tuition and fee budget by $622,000 to align with current projections. Increasing the auxiliary and enterprise transfer by $675,000 to align with current projections. Reducing expenditure budgets and other miscellaneous adjustments by $912,000 based on revised projections and the legislative delay in the implementation of the Time to Care Act. Many of these adjustments were discussed during the planning process with the committee, with amounts revised based on account estimates. This plan does not require approval because it does not require by the board because it does not alter the tuition and fee rates, and the county is the ultimate appropriation authority for the college. Instead, this is an accounting exercise to align with the new county funding level. Regarding the capital budget part, most of the changes impact project timing, with others requiring further conversation with the county to ensure that projects are addressed in future budget cycles. Overall, we are grateful for the partial restoration in state funding and the support received from the county executive. At the budget presentation to the county council, we asked for their support to pass the county executive's budget as submitted. The Board of Trustees remains committed to supporting our dedicated faculty and staff and providing the highest quality learning environment for our students, and is pleased to maintain the 6% compensation adjustment pool for FY 2025, despite physical challenges. This concludes my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Dr. Johnson? Hearing none, then we'll move on to Facilities Committee. Trustee Moore.
Thank you, Trustee Uvala. The committee met via Zoom on May 7th to discuss the following topics: May procurements, future procurements, I've always had trouble with that word, the FY 25-30 capital budget, and campus projects. The committee also discussed future meetings. First, the committee discussed the 4 procurements that were on our agenda for approval tonight. Next, the committee discussed the list of future procurements, noting that there could be as many as 9 procurements on the board's agenda for the June meeting. The committee received an update on the county executive's 2025-2030 capital budget, which included several adjustments to our initial request. Most of the changes in the capital budget impact project timing, with others requiring further conversation with the county to ensure the projects are addressed in future budget cycles. Last, the committee received an update on campus projects, specifically the gym and plant roof replacements, the renovation of Florestano's floor 1 through 3, and the county's Broadneck Trail project. Regarding the county's Broadneck Trail project, work has resumed on College Parkway adjacent to the college's practice fields, but we have not been advised as to a new completion date for this phase of the project. Chair Uvala, this concludes my report.
Any questions for Trustee Moore? Okay, then next we'll hear the foundation report. Vice Chair Dr. Chen.
Thank you. I'd like Trustee Gwynn to read the student letter.
Absolutely. Dear donor, I am beyond grateful to receive the STEM Initiative Scholarship for Future Success. I will truly cherish this act of generosity forever. This scholarship support will provide me with the resources I need to help me pursue my dream of studying science. I currently work part-time in retail while also being a full-time college student, which is strenuous. My family has been fully supportive in spirit of my studies at AACC. However, financially, we are only able to manage the basic needs of surviving each day, so there really is nothing left for higher education learning, which is the path to a brighter source of career opportunities. I hope to someday help with my family and their needs, and this scholarship is getting me closer to that goal. Academically, I plan to complete my associate's program by the fall of '24. After I complete my program, I'm going to transfer to a four-year university in hopes of completing my bachelor's degree in biology or perhaps epidemiology. Thank you again for your thoughtful gift. I will use this scholarship with the utmost intent to further my education in STEM and create a brighter future for myself and my family.
Thank you, Trustee Gwynn. Fantastic letter. To continue the report, the AACC Foundation is extremely grateful for the collective support received from our generous donors. As of May 1, 2024, the AACC Foundation's fundraising total is just over $3.4 million in gifts and commitments. Recent gifts include a $20,000 commitment from the Phillips Charitable Foundation to support AACC's HelpLink Fund for Nursing. Students in AACC's Registered Nursing RN program face unique financial obligations that include additional fees for textbooks, exams, and clinicals. AACC's HelpLink Fund for Nursing provides small-scale, short-term temporary emergency aid to students who are experiencing unexpected financial hardships, allowing them to stay in the program. Thanks to the work of AACC's financial aid team, the AACC Foundation is on track to transfer over $1 million in private scholarship support to students in this fiscal year. Since the AACC's Foundation's last report, donors have made generous gifts to support the Future of Nursing Professional Scholarship, the Annapolis Kappa Foundation Scholarship, the Friends of Baywoods of Annapolis Endowed Scholarship, and the J&J Christoffel Teaching and Nursing Scholarship. This concludes my report.
Do we have any questions for Dr. Chen? Yeah, well done. You guys are doing a great job. Thank you. Our next and final committee report will be the nominating committee. We'll hear again from Dr. I'm promoting you up their scale. Yes, Trustee Moore.
Thank you. And before I read this report, I checked with Dr. Chen and Trustee Joyce Price Jones to make sure they weren't backing out of this and embarrassing me. So I did ask them. As per the board bylaws at its May meeting, the election of the chair and vice chair shall take place. At the April meeting, the nominated committee proposed the following trustees for the office of chair and vice chair: Dr. Nadine Chen, chair; Trustee Joyce Price Jones, vice chair. It is our recommendation that the Board of Trustees elect Dr. Nadine Chen as chair and Joyce Price Jones as vice chair of the Anne Arundel Community College Board of Trustees beginning July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. And I will turn this to you.
Main motion, please.
The main motion in front of the board is that the recommendation of the election of board officers on the nominating committee are seeking support for Dr. Chen to become our new chair and Joyce Price Jones to become our new vice chair. So pending.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Excellent. Do we have any discussion? Please, no discussion on this.
No, talk them out of it.
Yeah, let's call for a vote then.
Yes, trustees, when I say your name, could you please state your vote? Chair Uvala,
Approve.
Vice Chair Chen,
Approve.
Trustee Chaudhry,
Approve.
Trustee Johnson,
Approve.
Trustee Moore,
Approve.
Trustee Price Jones,
Approve.
Trustee Stanton Buttram,
Approve.
and Trustee Glenn.
Approve.
Chair Uvala, the motion passes.
Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
congratulations.
Now, at this point, full disclosure, that's not a paid position, ladies, so.
We do accept candy bribes.
That can be a raise. We'll now move into our President's Report. Dr. Lindsay?
Thank you. As we approach the end of the semester, the past month has been filled with events, honors, and award celebrations for our students, faculty, and staff. These include the annual AACC Business Pitch Competition, in which students compete for money to support their business ventures. It's just like Shark Tank. I love it. The third annual Impact and Excellence Award, which was co-hosted by SGA President Zach Buster and Trustee Rachel Gwynn, to recognize exceptional AACC students in the areas of academic performance and leadership, and honor faculty, staff, and community members for their dedication to the success of our students. The release party of our third volume of the Journal of Emerging Scholarship, which provides the opportunity for peer-reviewed publications for undergraduate student research at the college. The 30th Annual Phi Theta Kappa All-American Academic Team Recognition Dinner, where nursing student Krista Buckley was named the 2024 New Century Workforce Scholar, the first time an AACC student has received this honor. The Crosby Marketing Scholars Lunch, celebrating the success of the students and the partnerships with Crosby Marketing, and the celebration of our second cohort of faculty and staff completing the African American Leadership Institute. All of these events lead up to the college's commencement, which will be held on Thursday, May 23rd at the Hall at Live. There are two ceremonies, an 11 a.m. and a 4 p.m., and we look forward to celebrating our students. I'm also pleased to share the following accomplishments of our students, faculty, staff, and alumni. The National Junior College Athletic Association inducted 2 former AAC student athletes into the Women's Lacrosse Coaches Association of Fame. Courtney Highsmith from 2007 and Jenny Deans from 2005 were inducted into the Hall of Fame on Friday, May the 10th. Strategic Communications received 2 2023 Paragon Awards, 1 gold and 1 silver, from the National Council for Marketing and Public Relations, which recognizes outstanding achievement in design, strategy, and communications. The ACC Truxell Library Access Services staff recently received the Maryland Library Association President's Customer Service Award for their support of the technology lending program that the college implemented at the start of the pandemic. Part-time faculty member Jayla Pope, who teaches English Basic Skills classes at AAC, has been selected for the prestigious National Fulbright Scholars Award. She will be in Mexico City for this opportunity for 10 months starting in August. Instructional specialist Owen Silverman Andrews was named 2024 Maryland Higher Education English as a second language teacher of the year, which recognizes a higher educational teacher who goes above and beyond in their job duties inside and outside of the classroom to ensure that multilingual students are successful at their academic endeavors. And finally, I'm pleased to announce that our very own Student Government Association President Zach Buster has received the Frederick Douglass Transfer Merit Scholarship, and he will receive a full ride tuition award for this time as a student at the University of Maryland, College Park. Very proud of Zach. Okay. Next, if Dr. Kelly McCants-Price could do her presentation, please, on diversity, equity, and inclusion, anti-racism, and accessibility.
Good evening. I see a sign here that says "Do not touch mic," so I'm not going to put my hands behind my back. Good evening, Dr. Lindsay. Good evening, trustees. Good evening to the gallery behind me. It's been a busy year for the Ideal Office, and I'm just going to share a few updates. I think once I put the slides together, I realized that there were a bunch of things that I had forgotten, but I also know I only have 5 minutes or less. So we've divided I've divided the report into 4 sections. The office provides support for the entire campus, also some support for the external community, but we're going to talk about faculty, student, employee support, and then what we do across campus and across divisions. So we'll start with faculty support. So the Ideal Office every year provides oversight for the Model Course Initiative. I know that Trustee Moore and Dr. Lindsay and I presented about that at the American Community College Trustees Conference last year. We will continue to provide oversight for that, making sure that we are helping our faculty to be their inclusive and equitable best as they show up for our students in the classroom. We also provide professional development and consultation for faculty learning and leadership in looking at our policies, our practices, and opportunity gaps. And also we also provide support for section-level data analysis, which we started a couple of years ago. And we're thankful to the staff from PREA for helping to make sure that that process is running smoothly. I am one of the members of the Educational Policies and Curriculum Committee, and part of the work that I've been doing with EPC this year has been looking at how we can make sure that we are infusing equity and inclusion into everything we do in EPC, from membership to what we're doing with policies and curriculum, but also supporting the EPC committee's efforts to clarify the diversity course definitions, which will be hopefully a wide sweeping initiative that we'll be doing next year, probably. And also looking at the outcomes for diversity courses and making sure that what we're saying is advertised in, as advertised in the college catalog is what we're actually delivering in the classroom in terms of diversity courses. In terms of student support, we participated in the Fall 2023 Student Leadership Conference. This is probably one of the funnest things we get to do, the most fun things that we get to do, because we get to work with students who are really, really interested in becoming better and really honing their leadership. And so the session that I did this year looked at inclusive language. So, we sometimes take for granted that, language is just something we use. It's just a tool. But language really does evolve with culture. And for us to be our inclusive best as a college community, one of the things that may have to evolve is language. We also have participated in community events to celebrate the college's rich cultural heritage. So for Hispanic American Heritage Month, Black History Month, Women's History Month, and most recently Irish American Heritage Month. We had a wonderful movie showing and discussion. And we are collaborating with the Gender and Sexualities Alliance and the AACC Rainbow Network to participate in the upcoming Annapolis Pride Parade and Festival on June 1st. Please join us if you are available. In terms of employee support, we continue to provide training for search committees to make sure, again, that we are our inclusive and equitable best as we're looking for new team members to work at AACC. We help with revision of the interview questions for faculty searches and still coordinate with HR and our other colleagues across campus, including the CCFPO and General Counsel, to enhance our recruitment and retention efforts. We provide targeted professional development with the individual departments and have also been working to continue the excellence that Dr. Alicia Marshall left with us in the African American Leadership Institute, which Dr. Lindsay already shared. We just graduated our second cohort and had a wonderful time on Friday learning about their leadership development projects and celebrating their accomplishments. Okay, so this is the whole long list. I'm so excited that we've hired a new coordinator of inclusive excellence who started in February. Trustees, you will meet her this evening. I have it on good authority. We also presented Tales from Anne Arundel Community College, a tightrope of inclusions and freedom at the American Association of Community Colleges annual meeting in Louisville, Kentucky. We recognized one faculty champion and one staff champion as equity champions for the college in August 2023. We are in the process of planning for recognizing our next set of champions in August 24. In keeping with the policy that says that we have to make sure that we have a religious accommodations policy in place, we also have to have religious practice spaces in place for folks who need to stop for prayer or meditation. So we've implemented that on the Arnold campus, the GBTC campus, and A-Mill, along with facilities and student engagement. And have provided college-wide communications regarding religious observances and inclusive practices for Ramadan and Shabbat. We've actually received a lot of really, really positive feedback about these communications, ranging from, wow, thanks so much for making sure that my community was recognized, to, wow, thanks for sharing that. I had no idea, and I learned so much. And we're also in the process of developing the FY25 DEI-AA Professional Development Plan, which will go live very soon. We continue to do an equity review of all policies and procedures, proposals from the drafting committees. We've reviewed and done some revising of the bias incident and campus climate reporting processes with the CCFPO's Office and General Counsel. We're also working on revisiting the structure and function of the College-Wide Diversity Committee, which I thought would be a very, very easy task. Let's just do it. But we do have some other concerns that we want to make sure that we handle to make sure that the work is done right. We are in the process of selecting final vendors for a fall 2024 comprehensive campus climate survey. And we've coordinated with the IDEA Lab in Information and Instructional Technology to support adding gender-inclusive pronoun options to Canvas and Zoom for FY25. I'm excited about that. And next month, you all will receive a copy of the Maryland Higher Education Commission's Cultural Diversity Report, which we do annually. And also, we are revising the college's DEI-AA strategic plan. Was that 5 minutes? And that concludes my report. Does anyone have questions? Yes. Sure. Sure. The new addition to our office, our coordinator of inclusive excellence, is Caitlin Silver Negron. Is Caitlin here? Are you here? Oh, you are here. This is what happens when you present with your back to most of the crowd. You don't even realize what's happening behind you. We are so fortunate, and by we I say I am so fortunate to have Caitlin in this role. She was formerly the college's basic needs coordinator. And so she comes to the ideal office role with not only a wealth of experience in basic needs and understanding how to provide, some of the unspoken needs for our students, but she also comes with an incredible wealth of diversity, equity, and inclusion experience. And I have been absolutely thrilled for the last 3 months to work with her. And I'm sure that you all will find her just delightful in terms of personality, but she's also very insightful, very knowledgeable about how her identity shows up in the room, even if she's not speaking. And that concludes my report, unless anyone has questions. Mm-hmm.
Up next, our strategic planning update, Monica Rosso.
Let me just adjust this microphone real quick. So I am pleased to present this update about the college's strategic plan, Engagement Matters 2, Excellence Through Innovation, and highlight the work that the president, vice president, faculty, and staff are doing to support student success. So as you know, the board approves the goals, objectives, and strategic activities of the strategic plan. A copy of the strategic plan and a lot of other fun things are located in the Resources Center in Diligent. The 3 goals of the plan are entry and engagement, progress and growth, and retention and completion. There are 4 objectives: excellence, engagement, innovation, and resources. And how we achieve our goals is through our strategic activities, which are the bullets under those 4 objectives. Each year, the president and vice presidents determine the priorities of the college, which align with the board's goals, the president and vice president's goals, and the goals and objectives of the strategic plan. So as a reminder, the priorities for this year are retention of current students, strategic alignment of resources, diversity, equity, inclusion, anti-racism, and accessibility, and the K-12 partnership and blueprint for Maryland's future. The board approves the key performance indicators of the strategic plan, which measures our progress and reflects the efforts at the unit and department level to support the strategic plan. So many of the KPIs related to our 3 goals of the strategic plan were shared by Dr. Patterson in her enrollment update last month. For example, for entry and engagement, she showed our progress with dual enrollment and enrollments in online courses. She also highlighted for progress and growth our spring credit headcount and FTE. She makes my presentation easy. But there are some other KPIs that we have. For example, for progress and growth under the objective of excellence is overall course success rate, which is the percentage of credit students in which students receive a grade of C or higher in the fall. This past fall, the course success rate was 74.1%, and as you can see, it was the highest it's been the past few years. The number of credit programs that can be completed by distance education is a KPI for our objective of innovation. And that number has increased to 56 this past year, an increase of 14 programs from the last year. Now, I don't want to steal Volley Melson's thunder, because he's going to be providing you with a more detailed update about the work of the AACC Foundation and Institutional Advancement at next month's meeting. But dollars raised for support of college programs and scholarships is one of our KPIs for our objective of resources. This support for programs and scholarships is so important for student success, which you hear each month in the donor letters that are shared with you by Trustee Gwynn and Dr. Chen in the foundation report. For the last goal of retention and completion, again, Dr. Patterson shared that data with you as well, and you see the retention rates are starting to trend back to our pre-pandemic levels. And with commencement here next week, we do have some preliminary awards data. While the numbers will not be finalized until July, approximately 1,650 students will graduate with over 2,200 degrees and certificates. And these numbers are slightly increased from last year with approximately 1,637 students with 2,174 degrees and certificates. So as you know, our current strategic plan ends June 30th, 2025. So as we're embarking on this fun planning process, it's important to note our strategic planning assumptions. Our strategic plan has to support the mission, vision, and values of the college. And the work is guided by our Strategic Planning Council and supported by the administration. The plan will define the priorities and actions for the college, which focuses the divisional activities. It will also incorporate our middle states opportunities for improvement from our accreditation visit, and again, will be measured with key performance indicators that are linked to the goals and activities in the plan and have targets and are measurable on a consistent basis. And this also leads to the assessment of the administrative unit activities. So this is just a snapshot of our strategic planning timeline. Right now, fiscal year 24, we're planning for the process, and we'll be doing that over the summer. And you can see that the bulk of the work is going to happen next year, all those bullets. So next year is going to be a very busy time for our Strategic Planning Council, conducting environmental scans, data collection, and seeking input from our external and internal stakeholders, including our board members, so we can help develop the next strategic plan. So that is a high-level overview of our progress and activities. And I want to thank the board and see if there's any questions at this time. Lovely. May I leave now? Oh, yes, Dr. Johnson.
So in the presentation, you gave 2 ways of measuring things, head count, and we also talked about enrollment. You know, there's not necessarily a relationship between the two that will change. There is a relationship, but it will change often. So at some point, will we have data that talks about one parameter that everybody can, you know, refer to rather than trying to do some algebra? I thought.
That's a good question. Well, and I'll also, you know, phone a friend if anyone wants to. You know, a lot of that data that we're seeing, you know, the enrollments, a lot of it is in the retention rates are lag data, right? Like there's so many different things that go into it. And I know this is the high level, but a lot of the detailed initiative, if I'm understanding your question, is there like one KPI that really kind of says this, so we don't have to kind of interpret the other? Is that more?
Yeah, or sometimes you may talk about head count because it's convenient, that's what everybody uses. But then what happens in terms of total enrollment? It sometimes could be going in the opposite direction that head count's doing because there's so very few people in each one of the classes. So, but just something, it was something to think about, and whether it makes sense to
Or
work
simplifies
hard
the
about it.
KPI for, is there something that we're,
Yeah.
I think they measure different things, though, in all fairness, the FTE
Yep.
as opposed to heads count. Hence why we think it's important that we look at both measurements, because you will get a very skewed perspective if you just see one and not the other.
Yeah.
So we do like to present to the board with both.
Okay.
I think it's suffice to say is if there's an easier way to summarize it, is in terms of the result, that would be great. Keep that in mind, I guess, in the planning process.
we will?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we are now moving into our constituent reports. Chair of the academic forum / council, Andrew. You here?
Good evening, Board. My report, I had a CAT meeting on April 17th. That was held in the Florestano building in their new area. We had the in-person academic forum meeting on April 25th, celebrations and faculty awards, and 2 charter change motions were approved and have been sent to Monica for next steps. Received a updated charter from Monica this past Friday that takes care of like 95% of our backlog of previous charter amendments. So I would like to say special thanks to Monica, Tiffany Boykin, and PVP for pushing all those through to get us somewhat caught up. We have many proposed charter amendments on Thursday's forum meeting schedule. I'm finalizing the red line copy now, introducing them Thursday, and we'll have electronic votes on them in June before everyone goes away. And then had a very productive meeting with Vice President Kralovich and Dean Myers on digital accessibility and moving that forward. And that concludes my report. Any questions?
Thanks, Andrew.
You're welcome.
And next up, Andrea Zamora from the Administrative Staff Association, President. I have to give you a proper title.
For too much longer. Good evening, Chair Uvala, Dr. Lindsay, and trustees. I want to share with you that the 4th and final meeting of the ASO for this academic year was held last week on May 1st. And during that meeting, the slate of officers for the 24-25 year was presented by the Nominations Committee along with the process for our virtual voting. And so that slate of officers includes for President, Angelo, forgive me, I hope I get this right, Dr. Angelo Thalassanides, Stacy Korbelak for Vice President, Dr. Lance Bowen for Secretary, new members at large, Amber Dawn Cheatham and Dr. Darian Sen Carter, and our remaining members at large will be Kathy Campbell and Kevin Miller. Voting is to conclude May 17th. However, we have achieved enough of our votes have come in already to say that that will be our slate of officers. The ASO Executive Board is in the process of garnering representatives to serve on the various college committees, and we hope to have that finalized within the next week or so. During the past year, the ASO has explored its role as a constituency group. Our meetings have transitioned to 1-hour business meetings now that the supervisor forums have been providing professional development and supervisory updates. But as I'm nearing the end of this academic year, I want to take this opportunity to express my gratitude for being able to serve as the ASO for the past 4.5 years. First as a member at large for 2 years, then as vice president for 1.5 years, and most recently as president. It was kind of funny when I took the role as member at large, someone said, you might want to think about that because once you come in, they don't let you out. but I am stepping back a little bit. And I want to say thank you this year to Angelo for being the vice president and Stacy Korbelak for being our secretary, and also Dwayne Hare and Wendy Thomas for being our members at large for the last 2 years. And thank you for the opportunity to be able to share updates at the Board of Trustees meetings from the ASO. Thank you. Any questions?
And president of a professional and support staff organization, Lisa Starkey.
Good evening, board members and my colleagues in the galley. Our written report covers a lot of our activities through March and May, and I just have a couple of brief highlights. One of our highlights is from our PSSO meeting that we held last month to support IIT's mandatory information security awareness training. At the beginning of our PSSO meeting on April 23rd, Hubert Kowaleski and John Anderson provided the mandatory training to the meeting attendees. In a spirit of collaboration, the PSSO opened the meeting to all employees who needed to complete the training, including our colleagues in ASO and TFO. We'd like to report that we had 345 employees from across the college attend this training. 32 were actually in the CADE room here, and 313 were attending via Zoom. We are offering the opportunity to attend the training again tomorrow during our PSSO meeting and extending that to the college employees. That leads me to the next highlight. The leadership team met with the PSSO Engagement Committee to discuss the opportunities to hold a lunch and learn for the PSSO members, emphasizing the opportunities to serve the PSSO. We had 45 members attend the luncheon on Wednesday, April 10th, and we had everybody bring their lunch, and we gave out cookies as an enticement to attend, which we really believe that the energy from this lunch and learn and the information leads me to my last highlight. The PSSO Nomination and Election Committee is in full cycle with our elections. Right now, the first part of the election cycle has been held that the committee positions within PSSO committees and college-wide committees with PSSO representation, we're happy to report is 100%. So we really think that that lunch and learn gave a lot of great information out and encouraged our PSSO members to serve. Right now, we're also in the process of having our officer elections and the PSSO area rep and alternate nominations. Our next report to the board will include our year-end committee reports, as well as an update on our accomplishments for our FY 2024 goals. Thank you so very much. Oh, do you have any questions? Thank you.
And I think I saw Zach come in the back door.
Yes.
Okay, come on up. Student Government Association President Zach. And we just congratulated you on your scholarship award while you were doing classes, I'm assuming.
Thank you so much. Yes, I was actually
You
at.
did announce it.
Yes, thank you. I was actually at the end of the year event. So we have our end of the year festival every year that SGA and Office of Student Engagement sort of host. So yeah. Good evening, Chair Uvula and the board. Good evening, President Lindsay. Since we last met, the Student Government Association has been working to finish out this year strong. We have created comprehensive resources for the transition of leadership, written summary reports on everything we have accomplished, and we have also brought the college community together through multiple events. And we have not stopped trying to make AACC a better place for everyone, even though we are sort of coming down to a close. As part of that transition for next year's SGA, the Executive Board spent the month of April reviewing, updating, and revising our Constitution to ensure we are more organized and inclusive while serving the student body, making common sense edits and much-needed updates. I believe these amendments will help next year's SGA run more smoothly. And before this meeting today, I was at the AACC End of Year Festival, which is one of my last public appearances as president of the Student Government Association. As I interacted with hundreds of the students I served throughout this year and worked with my team to make this day special for them, I began to look back on the impact I have made. At first, I began to question if my impact would continue to be felt after I leave. I began to ask what my legacy would be. That's when I realized the community we have built together this year only exists because of the people in that community, the people I have directly and indirectly impacted. The impact of my team and I have made is not just in the number of event attendees or even the awards we won. It is in the lives that we have touched. Here at AACC, we help everyone who attends redefine themselves. Whether it's turning a 19-year-old fast food worker into a public servant or helping a military spouse return to the workforce, this college helps people unlock their potential and realize what they are capable of. And I'm happy to be a part of that, and I want to thank you for your part in doing that, and thank you for your guidance and help for me in helping accomplish that. So thank you so much.
Well done, Zach, and congratulations again.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Are there any questions? Thank you so much.
Okay. Eric Dunham, Vice President for Faculty Organization.
Good evening, Board. Good evening, Dr. Lindsay. I'm presenting for Dr. Deb Levine, the TFO President. She couldn't make it this evening. We met on March 7th, and we also held 2 convocations this year, April 10th and May 9th. A charter change came through to give instructional staff a voice in TFO so that they can participate in issues that directly affect them, even though they're not fully considered TFO. They will remain PSSO members and have limited voting rights, but we're bringing them in to recognize their impact in the classroom. They will serve on some committees, excluding promotion and tenure and compensation. The charter change will go to the president and vice president for approval before August 15th. TFO has elected officers for the coming academic year. Ms. Brandy Shepard from our architecture department will serve as president. I will continue as vice president because, you know. Yeah. I've made many bad decisions in my life. Mr. Ken Jarvis will return to TFO, this time as a role as recorder. TF members have provided input on many policy and procedure drafts. Our work in improving our ability to collaborate with the policy and procedure draft process is ongoing. We also hosted a session of the mandatory information security awareness training. We did not have 300 members, but we did all right. TFO members for the new grievance committee have been selected for the coming academic year, and they will serve immediately through June 15th. A couple of standing committee reports real quick. Adjunct Faculty Affairs, they've revised their goals that emphasize community building, and there have been revisions to the PAT manual, and they were approved at the May convocation for the next academic year's committee activities. The Ad Hoc Committee on Faculty Mentoring has been very active. I plan to join this committee next year. The committee has been working to create a faculty member system modeled on the Aspire AACC program created by the lead AACC team in 2015. It's also modeled it's also the model used at the Academy of Excellence. Faculty mentoring is actively recruiting mentors for promotion, tenure, and sabbatical proposals, and we will request reaffirmation of that ad hoc committee in the fall. And the May convocation on the 9th was the last meeting of the TFO for the academic year. Any questions? Great, thank you very much.
And the report on the MAC activities, the 2024 MAC legislative committee report, which summarizes the highlights of the 2024 session and outlines the key bills the committee filed throughout the session is included in your board materials. I want to thank, thanks to the advocacy efforts of many people, there was a restoration of $10 million to the Cape funding formula. And other highlights included legislation to provide a technical adjustment to Maryland's Community College Combo Scholarship Program to reduce administrative barriers for students in non-credit programs, establishing a talent innovation program to support initiatives that enhances workforce skills and innovation in cybersecurity. Chair, you will that concludes my report.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of legislation that you all had to look at, and as a past legislative chair, Mac, I'm glad I wasn't there this year. Yes.
Chair Uvala, can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
President, I am wondering if it's at all possible, because I did read through everything, and there's some interesting legislation in here that has been passed. And would it be possible for you to provide to the board how certain new legislative initiatives are going to be what legislation impacts this college and the plan to handle those new laws.
Happy to do that.
Thank you.
Do we have any new business to be brought before the board? Seeing none, just a reminder that our next board meeting is June 18th, which is the third Tuesday in the month of June, so don't show up on the 2nd because you'll be alone. We will be here the third Tuesday. At this time, may I have a motion to close this open session meeting and adjourn to a closed session pursuant to Section 3-305B7 of the General Provisions Article of the Maryland Code to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice. Do I have such a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion? Hearing none, Monica, would you call for the vote, please?
Yes, trustees, when I say your name, please state your vote. Chair Uvala,
Approve?
Vice Chair Chen,
Approve.
Trustee Chaudhry,
Approve.
Trustee Johnson,
Approve.
Trustee Moore,
Approve.
Trustee Price Jones,
Approve.
Trustee Stanton Buttram,
Approve.
and Trustee Gwynn.
Approve.
Chair Uvala, the motion passes.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
4 or 5 o'clock.